So this video is a cut-up segment from one of my streams that I did with a couple friends from League Entertainment for them hitting 1K subs. And the video we're reacting to raises the question, are male characters boring in video games? Now most people would read that title and think it's completely stupid, and you would be exactly right, and the arguments and talking points this girl raises in her video are really bad and sound pretty sexist as well, and not really understanding the cultural differences between men and women. But before I start talking about video games, let me tell you how you can get a lot of games for cheaper than the retail price point with the sponsor of today's video, Instant Gaming. A lot of people, including myself, love using this site to get a lot of games, even pre-ordering games, for cheaper than the usual price point. And in this economy, who doesn't like a good discount? They have stuff that you can buy for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. They have a 4.7 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, for any of you that may be skeptical of this, if it's like a scam or not. They also have 24/7 customer support available. And like I said, I also use this site pretty frequently when it comes to buying new releases, or even games that aren't so new. For example, my favorite game of all time, God of War Ragnarok, is only $42 on the PlayStation Store, and they're going to be having even more deals than normal right now with Black Friday going on. So if you guys want to be like me and save yourself some money, then use my link in the description to support the channel and look into some games that you're interested in and get them for cheaper. And without further ado, let's begin the video. Yeah, sure.
Male lead characters in video games always boring.
Fucking Andy Pants.
I think that.
Oh wait, it's a girl making the video.
Anybody who understands anything about this fucking subject can fucking tell immediately that
What
it's
is
just
this?
some
What is this?
cringy-ass
Hold on, what the fuck
bullshit.
is this obese fucking woman on my screen? This obese rabbit.
Why is her?
Gee,
Why is her hair-
care.
Why is her hair rabbit ears? Why does she have like rabbit ears?
I have no idea.
We're off to a great start.
It's literally the stereotype of the classic
Imagine
2016
being
SJW
able to
type.
being able to make an avatar. You can turn it into anything you want.
It's literally fucking envy.
And like with bunny ears.
Are male lead characters in video games always boring? To me, I think that a male protagonist in a video game does not necessarily mean.
Alright, let's just read this off for a second here.
Wait, what did it
Straight
say?
Hills,
Wait, what did the
War.
first part say?
Wait, what is this? What is this?
Go back a
These
couple
are
seconds.
spoilers.
Go back a couple
Spoilers.
seconds. Oh, it says
Oh,
Are male
spoilers.
lead-
Okay.
Are
Never
male
mind.
lead characters in video
cares?
games always boring?
Are male leads always boring?
To me, I think that a male protagonist in a video game does not
Spoilers
necessarily
are boring.
mean they're going to be boring, or the story is going to be boring. But it does give room
Oh,
for
wow,
lazy
really?
writing if the developers choose to do so. There are
Wait,
character archetypes
what do
in
you mean by that, bro? It gives room for
What the
lazy
fuck does that
writing.
even mean?
It gives room for lazy writing just because there's a male protagonist? What the fuck is that?
Literally anybody, so this
Yeah,
literally
what the
has
fuck?
no meaning.
You could be
This
making
is-
a story about a literal raccoon, and it could be an excuse for lazy writing. Yeah, so it was a
Hold on.
stupid statement. Keep the video playing.
She was about to say
Isn't
something
that-
else.
That's actually really sexist to just assume
Yeah, I know.
that the gender implies that there's that's actually really funny.
Yeah. What about the fact that there's just multiple games where they'll have main characters that are just nothing burgers except for just a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if that has anything to do with bull culture.
If you have a the thing about it
practices.
is if you have a 10 out of 10 fat ass, pretty face type shit, and she's a boring character, people might still like that character. But if
Name
you
one
got a
right now,
boring
Colin.
main character,
Name one right now, Colin.
if you got a
I
boring,
wonder if there's a.
if
I
you got
wonder
a
if there's a
boring
core.
man character, then it's just what the fuck? Most people
All
are
I
just
gotta-
not gonna like that character.
All that I'll simply say is I can't think of too many games. It's not like there's no examples. Have you guys ever played Metroid Other M?
No.
Well,
Yeah.
that game is it's one of the Metroid games that are more story based, and Samus is basically just a nothing burger character, the whole way through. She's kind of just an emotionless robot the whole game.
What about Dina?
From what?
Last of Us 2.
I mean, she's not the protagonist, unless you're gonna say that Abby's fucking boring, which I would agree with.
Well, I thought if we're talking only protagonists, I would say maybe slightly Stellar Blade. A little bit, but
Isn't that literally what Stellar Blade is? An attractive woman, and that's all she
yeah,
is?
I mean, she's got parts of her that make her kind of interesting.
Like what?
Like the fact that she's the whole premise of the story is there's androids and then there's humans that created the androids and they basically destroyed the world.
Are
Because
we
there
talking
was,
about
a
Nier
big war.
Automata?
No, we're not talking about Nier Automata. Nier
I know,
Tomato.
what you're
I'm just-
describing almost sounds
Yes,
exactly like
it
that.
has a similar premise to Nier, but it's not the same thing. It's basically And like throughout the course of the game, depending on some of the choices you make, she'll either become more human or more mission focused.
Okay.
Does she
They
cry?
don't explain it. They don't go that in depth with her character, but
Does she cry?
there's a little bit of stuff there.
Does she cry?
No, doesn't cry.
Okay, so she's a boring character. Alright, let's continue.
traditional target audience to imprint on. You don't have to do much for the mid-30s male
Okay, what's it say?
What's even her point? Like, play the full video.
Oh, yeah,
writing
let's
if
go.
the developers choose to do so. They are a character archetype in video games that are easy for the traditional target audience to imprint on. You don't have to do much for the mid-30s male gamer to jump into them for. In fact, many argue that the blanker a character is,
Wait,
the
what
better
the
it is
fuck
for a person
kinda-
to insert
What
themselves
are you?
into.
Don't pause it. Don't you project your stupid standards onto us, you stupid fuck. Just because a dude's a man, that doesn't mean I'm connected to him. What the fuck is that?
That's actually really stupid. Like, yeah, most gamers are men, so like, why are we okay with Tomb Raider, Metroid, well, like The Last of Us in general playing as Ellie? Like, why are we okay with that shit? If like, you know,
Nier Automata,
Can't relate.
Nier Tomato is one of the most highly praised games ever, and it's like you're mainly playing as a woman.
Yeah, or Resident Evil 3. You play as Jill Valentine for like 90% of the game.
Yeah, what about
option
the
to
fact
play
that
as-
when I played Resident Evil 2, I picked Claire instead of Leon, bro?
that's because you're down bad.
Or
Alright.
recently, or in Resident Evil 4, you have an entire DLC where you play as Ada.
Yeah, which I didn't play.
Yeah. See,
Wow, sexist.
Closed. Hate
Yeah.
women.
Yeah, let's go.
Face is called the neutral mask, and it's the face that you, as an audience
Bro,
member, subconsciously
why-
want in an action
Why
franchise.
is she showing
that
her
face
pause.
allows you to
Why is she showing her fucking OC watching the clip? That is the cringiest shit I've ever seen in my life. That makes me actually want to fucking eat
I just
some
cannot-
empathize more strongly with the hero of these big.
She needs to
budget
roll on out of
blockbusters
that
like
frame.
Star Wars or Harry Potter or The Matrix.
There we
We've
go,
got
I think I
Keanu stone-facedly going through the roller coaster ride so that we can live vicariously through him. And look up the most successful
God.
movie
Why is she
franchises of the
playing
last
a
25
fucking
years on
clip
Wikipedia. The bulk
from
of
these
them are
fucking
cartoons or
doofuses sitting in
drawings
some
like the
random
Stick Figure.
restaurant?
No, they're superheroes.
Alright,
with
this
the
is
neutral
turning
masks
to,
like Iron Man, Spider-Man,
nonsense.
Batman.
Alright, hang on.
Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Batman aren't interesting characters because they're men.
Hang on. Let me explain what point she's making, just to be clear. So what she's trying to say is, people can relate to characters that are more neutral-esque, not overly expressive, because they can project themselves onto those characters. It's the same idea as like a silent protagonist. That's why we
Yeah.
like characters like Master Chief.
Is that
The
what she's
problem
trying
is-
to say, or is that what you think she's trying to say?
That's what she's trying to say, at least. The problem with this argument is this has nothing to do with gender at all. So I don't know how this applies to the argument in the first place.
I mean, that applies. I mean, what you said, Liam, also applies to like Samus from Metroid.
Samus is a silent character during most of her games because of that. It's like, it's not a gendered thing at all. So this is just such a stupid non-argument.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're movies like Star Wars, Transformers, The Matrix, Pirates of the Caribbean, Harry
the
Potter, Twilight.
These
Who
are
the stars of those
completely.
movies? Not the
There's
coolest
you like these
characters.
characters. These
They're
whole.
all
This is just autism.
Neutral masks.
All right.
What?
Some of these characters are not even the same. Like,
Doesn't
we're comparing.
Optimus literally
is-
have an expressive...
what does he
doesn't
mean
Optimus
by
literally have,
neutral
like, an
mask?
expressive face?
I'm confused.
Yeah, he
but what does
does.
he mean by
Like-
neutral mask?
Most heroes and protagonists, like, you know how they like wear these wears like a mask and it's like expressionless because it covers the face.
Most
That's
of
what
the
he means.
characters that he just mentioned. What the fuck?
I
Why
know,
would Jack
it's so
Sparrow
weird.
be? That doesn't even make sense.
No, he's not even remotely. That's what I was talking about. Like he's drawing false comparisons here.
Well, wouldn't even. Who the fuck looks at Darth Vader and sees themselves? I'm so lost right now.
He's not neutral. He's pretty fucking.
Evil.
He's
And
anything
Vader's-
from neutral.
Vader's not even an interesting character because he's a fucking dude. Like, what? Luke's not an interesting character because he's a dude. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Focused, like they don't express themselves emotionally. Is
That's just
Like, what
wrong,
makes this
though.
kinda
Especially
fun.
with. Why would Jack Sparrow ever be an example of that? That's like a
he's
polar
one of the most
opposite.
expressive characters ever. He is overly expressive. That's why he's fun. And I like how they bring all these other superheroes when It's actually really funny. Most of these superheroes, there's like a common criticism that they keep having to unmask them. Like, how many times does Spider-Man take off his mask so we can get his expressions in the movies?
Yeah, I mean that's what people criticized in the Halo show when they.
I was about to bring up Master Cakes. God damn it.
What about the fact that
Yeah.
like most of the Deadpool 1 and 2, most of that CGI stuff went to Deadpool's like making Deadpool's mask emotive.
And even then, he still takes it off. Like, remember, there's like
Yeah.
multiple scenes where he just takes it off so he can express himself.
Yeah, well,
Like-
granted, it's also a Hollywood thing. Like, you know, just actors just want more screen time.
But it's also that they do it when they want the person to have like an emotional reaction or an expression or something. It's just something that they keep doing. I think it's like whatever you think about it, the point is that's clearly indicating that they're not trying to make these characters emotionless, neutral people. So I don't even get what the argument is.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no bearing on what is being said in this
I just want to
random
know
crack
why.
video.
What about like literally one of the like the scenes in like Transformers 1 with like Optimus, where like you can see all the Autobots are like down because Bumblebee is captured and like the Decepticons are coming and shit.
He
Or,
doesn't
like,
have his mask on. Like, his face mask is off. You could see his lips move and shit.
What
And
about
his
when he was
big,
explaining,
big goofy nose?
or when he's explaining the whole shit to Sam about what the cube is, or when they're at his house?
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
This is
So, in its own way, having a painfully blank and boring lead male character.
Oh, you
who doesn't
fucking
go
kidding
Do
me?
anywhere
not put
outside the
Kratos
boundaries-
on the screen as you say
She ships
that.
Kratos.
Point.
Dude, she's gonna use Kratos multiple times. She's
Are
gonna
you
say
dead
that
ass?
She's gonna say that Kratos in the older games is like bland and emotionless, and he's only good in the newer games.
Well, listen,
Point.
I've only played
Point.
I've only played the first God of War game and the fourth and fifth one. But
See,
even
Go
from
ahead.
the first game, he has stuff to his character. The man was forced to fucking murder his family, like unintentionally.
Wanna know
Just
what our
bring up
argument
the
is?
opening
Wanna know what
cutscene
our
of the
argument
game.
is?
Well,
Well,
no, I want to
let's
hear.
get
Just let
there.
it play out. Just let it play out.
Yeah, let it play out.
Alright.
The mundane good writing for immersion to a certain type of gamer. However, that is not true for all gamers. There are also a large amount of gamers who crave a story that is deeper and more complex, or maybe a story
Like
that
God
includes
of
their own
War.
life experiences rather than a more general one, or maybe straight male gamers who want to experience a story different than what they are used to. With the rise of indie games in the last 10 years or
The
so,
fuck?
games have been able to tap into markets that AAA games are afraid to do because of potentially
Why are
smaller
you
numbers,
showing
not just for
Hellblade
non-male
right now?
protagonists, but for survival horror, simulation, life sims, dating sims, and many other genres that the AAA industry assumes to have a little or no interest from gamers. At one point
What
in
the
time,
hell?
it was believed that having a non-straight male protagonist
just
was
happen?
too risky.
Alright, let's
With
continue the
indie
video.
games, that risk was taken
I tell
and
you,
proven
I
to
am
be
a
a
no
good
filter.
selling point to markets that are largely untapped. From my anecdotal observations, usually when the main
Anecdotal.
character and supporting cast are anything other than straight men, the developer is usually trying to say something. There are many different perspectives
What
in
the
the world.
Shouldn't
That is
every
like-
developer try to say something with their?
Any developer
the
who's trying to make a story, any developer who's trying to make a story-based game is all like obviously trying to say something. Like, especially if they care about the story that they're telling. Like, does she think like something like Assassin's Creed isn't trying to say something? It's not
Yeah.
trying to make commentaries on things like religion, beliefs.
Even if it's not making
freedom
commentaries,
versus peace.
even if it's not even making like direct commentaries to direct things from the real life, they're still trying to say something with their
Yeah,
story.
like Assassin's Creed 4. I mean, wouldn't Assassin's Creed 4, like, Robert Kennedy just learned to become less selfish, and literally at the end, he meets his daughter, he's going to, like, raise her, and we see that he has a new family.
Or like fucking Spider-Man PS4 with Peter, like his pride, like getting over his pride, like that's still saying something.
Assassin's Creed Revelations, how to confront the tail end of your life. Like how to deal with like the last bits you got left.
Dead Space,
Before
how to
you
get
go.
over, how to get over something.
Yeah, let's continue.
Dead
Into
Space
one
is
that
like confronting your
deviates from the
trauma.
industry
Yeah.
norm gives a lot of juicy bits that can make your story unique in a sea of good games that are very similar to each other. Even if they don't do anything with their character choice, they are usually choosing to have a more story-based game. This is why I think people tend to associate male protagonists with what they feel is a boring game or a generic game, while people associate a
Like,
What?
who are you talking
I
about?
don't
Nobody
know.
thinks like
The
that.
straw man they made up in their heads.
female protagonist with a more story-based game with more depth to it. Gone
What?
Home, Life
What?
is Strange, Remember Me, and What Remains of Edith Finch
Like
are
I
some
said,
examples.
projection. That's all you need to say.
She said people
Hey.
tend. Or just replay it. Literally, just replay it.
Yeah, replay it.
While people associate a female protagonist with a more
Well, no, no,
story-based
go from
game
the
with
man.
more
No,
depth
start
to
from the
it.
man.
Gone Home associate male protagonists with what they feel is a boring game or a generic generic game, while people associate a female
They, you mean
protagonist with a
her.
more story-based
Who is-
game with
who
more
is
depth
we?
to it.
Who is
It's
we?
her.
Who's we?
She is projecting. That's all. It's all it is. It's
Yeah,
just
okay,
projection.
I'm gonna ask everybody a question. I'm gonna ask everybody a question. Genuinely, name 5 video game stories that are actually like fantastic with like female protagonists.
As like a main character.
Yeah, they have to be the one they
Like,
play as. the
does
main
it have to be a
character.
good game or story?
Just story. Think of story.
Well, you're not gonna like.
I mean, I
I
guess
don't like
a lot
a
of
lot-
Let's
like
just
a
say
lot of
let's
your
just say
opinions, bro.
let's just say that I'll say I like Ellie's story in Last of Us 2. I like
remember
Nier
earlier-
Automata. Nier Automata is great. I like Hellblade 2's story. I like
Yeah.
I like Jedi Survivor.
Hey, whoa! Who's streaming? Who's streaming?
I like Marin from the Jedi
Oh.
games. I like Freya from God of War 4 and 5.
Not a protagonist.
I mean, she's a
I-
main character.
All right, what's her moveset like, bro?
Shut the
What
fuck
kind of
up.
combo stage with her, bro? Then shut the fuck up.
Oh
and be protagonist.
no!
When you say like Basilisk Sean from KOTOR would probably be a good example.
No, like I mean protagonist, like literally the character.
Uncharted
you play as.
Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Okay.
Home, what's the
okay.
question?
Name like 5 video game stories with a female protagonist that are like genuinely amazing. I don't even mean just good. They have to be like 10 out of
Amazing.
10. like,
Top
amazing.
tier stories.
Ooh.
Yeah, top tier shit.
Nier
Like,
Automata. Nier Automata.
Yeah, Nier's really good.
If we're talking about protagonists,
Alan
then
Wake 2.
Silent Hill 3.
no, the KOTOR one does apply because it's a protagonist, not a main character.
Yeah, Silent Hill 3. No, what? Mr.
Hellblade 2.
Yeah, Dragon.
What?
If you're talking Bachelor is what's known as a deuteragonist, not a protagonist.
Yeah, if we're talking,
Yes.
if we're would Last of Us 1 count?
No, Ellie's a deuteragonist.
Okay.
I think you could argue that. I think that one is like sure. I'll allow it.
All right. Well, then I guess
it's a
my
leading
answers,
character or a major character.
my answers would be Last of Us 1, Nier Automata, Hellblade 2, and Alan Wake 2.
All right, so I think I made the point. That was fucking hard. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's
now
also
name-
a product of not being able
That's
to
fucking gay.
not
I
playing
will
more
lather
games.
your forehead.
Okay,
All right.
one at a time. One at a
All
time.
right. Okay. Now think of 5 genuinely peak, like fantastic stories with male protagonists.
Spider-Man,
Call 'em go.
PS4, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War 4, God of War 5, Detroit Become Human, Infamous.
You see how
fucking
much easier that shit is?
Arkham,
Like it's
most of the
so
Arkham
funny.
games, Arkham Shadow,
Arkham Knight.
I wonder-
Jedi Survivor,
Resident
Jedi
Evil
Fallen
4.
Order, Dead Space,
You,
Alan Wake 2.
yeah.
Don't you say Resident Evil 4. Don't you fucking do that. Red Dead 2.
Why-
Of course.
Why is it?
The OG Resident Evil 4 is fucking peak.
Colin,
So
do you
why-
want another response video to compare you to Patrick? Is that what you want, bro?
Resident Evil 4's story is the most you would get out of me is a good.
Why is it that most female main characters seem to fail?
Uncharted 4.
I mean, there's a lot of good
Modern
female
games.
Can you
characters.
talk about how good
the-
Detroit Become Human is? Dude, Detroit Become Human is like the best choice making like Telltale-esque game ever.
I'm just processing.
Honestly,
Why?
you know what?
Why
I
do
agree with
most? Yeah,
What about
I got the
like
fuck stick.
this year specifically? Like
I'm just talking about the AAA gaming in space.
I mean, yeah, most of the games that I'm talking about, like for 2024, most of them have been AAA. The only one with a that's like really good story with a female protagonist is Hellblade 2.
Assassin's Creed as a franchise, like Assassin's Creed 1, peak story. Assassin's Creed 2, peak story. Then there's Brotherhood. Revelations, I genuinely think is a masterpiece. Assassin's Creed 3, that one's a little arguable to some people, but then like AC4, everyone loves.
Game stories with really good female protagonists. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night has a female protagonist as peak.
I could say, I would actually. What about Detroit Become Human? I mean, that would count.
You know what's so funny? You know what's so funny, guys? I like this is the second time Colin had to like semi-cheat by going, what about this game where you could technically say it where there's other male protagonists?
Yeah, no, I'm not
involved?
even gonna cheat.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
so
like
funny.
that's
No,
literally
yeah.
it's
I was
fun.
just
Yeah,
can
but
I
it's
get my
funny,
examples
though.
out because I'm not gonna fucking cheat
Well,
because
Detroit's not even cheating though. Like there's 3 main protagonists, and like I would say that. Well, I would
Yeah,
say
I agree. I agree. But what I'm pointing out is that's kind of funny that like some of the examples are ones with fantastic male protagonists. It shows how wrong she is. It's insane. Continue the video.
Gone Home, Life is Strange, Remember Me, and What Remains of Edith Finch are
Life is
some
Strange.
examples of story-based games that choose to have a non-male protagonist as the lead. The main characters may simply be women and can be seen as boring themselves, but the story surrounding them seems to be more in-depth than a standard AAA warfighter game. Again,
Wait,
this
so
is my opinion.
Wait. So your argument is about like boring characters, and you said the characters may be boring themselves, but the stories surrounding them aren't. Like, what? Wouldn't that be completely irrelevant to talking about the characters' writing?
Man, this video just debunks itself.
Also, I like how she like names off like a bunch of games. There's like only one I recognize, and it's recognized for its memes to be made fun of. Fucking Life is Strange. But yeah, I like how
you need to feel for.
I like how she basically like brings up a lot of fucking games that are barely recognizable, besides like what, one or two, versus like the fucking games that we brought up that are like beloved franchises that are renowned for its gameplay and or story.
Yeah, I'll be fair with
kind of insane.
With male versus female protagonists, to find like really good female protagonists consistently, you need to look more in the indie scene or Japanese horror games.
Yeah, you literally have to dig in just to find them to like. For like good like stories with like female protagonists, but like the male ones they're like even easier to access. Like I just find it really funny, and I like and like she brings up like the warfighter games, like they don't count as good stories. When it's like, first of all, War has like tons of storytelling potential because War is a very deep, like complex issue. It's like full of like tragedies and stuff that are worth telling. There's a lot of things you can say about war, the condition of humanity, and all that shit. And a few video games have done this. Like, sure, the Call of Duty games are very action-heavy, like, silly. But, like, look at stuff like Spec Ops The Line. That game is very deep. That game is about, like, the horrors of war and how it can affect someone and how it can change, a person who genuinely wanted to do good into a monster. And it's, like, there's, like, shit like that. Like,
or there's Fallout. Fallout tagline is literally war. War never changes. Like basically, the whole point of war in Fallout is how like humanity has always had a desire for war. We're always fighting each other.
Can Star Wars never tell an interesting story? Like the Knights of the Old Republic games. Once again, those have themes of war and conflict.
Well, no, those are just games of Space Wizards intended for children.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Is that always true? Of course not. There are no universal truths when it comes to topics like these. The debate is complex, and there are always exceptions.
Congratulations, you played
view.
yourself.
There are, of course, great straight male characters, in my opinion, like Joel from The Last of Us or Simon from Soma. They are dynamic characters which are always.
Wait, the dynamic character? What happened?
What happened? Is that always true? Of course not. There are no universal truths when it comes to topics like these. The debate is complex, and there are always exceptions to any point of view. There are, of course, great straight male characters, in my opinion, like Joel from The Last of Us or Simon from Soma. They are dynamic characters.
Why are we excluding Kratos from this equation? What's the difference?
I mean, also, to be fair, like, you don't need, if you want to, like, there are so many good male protagonists, I don't think leaving Kratos out is, like, a sin.
Yes, it is.
No,
Kratos
she was saying that
male protagonists.
She was saying that Kratos is like a one-dimensional character.
Yeah, then, if that's the case, then she's wrong. But leaving out, you don't obligate
do that later. It's insane.
That's right. You weren't here for that bit.
Complex stories. And of course we have the development of Kratos from God of War, from a standard male protagonist into something deeper.
However, see what I mean? See what I mean?
Fuck off. Colin, you Sony Glazer. You wanna take this one?
I mean, I can only talk about the first one.
Like, the reason the Kratos from God of War 4 and 5 worked so well was because of the earlier games. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, I was about to say, that is true. Well, like, God of War 1, bro, like, it literally starts off with him, like, wanting to be, like, this great war general, and him, because he wanted to be that guy, it cost him his entire family, and he fucking basically, like, served a god that was abusive to him, and he has to fucking, like, break free of that. Like, how is that a one-dimensional, no-depth character?
In the end of the first game, he is so like filled with like grief and torment and mental trauma that he like literally tried to like
he tried to kill himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like how is that a standard white male protagonist?
Even in high-risk situations, express their
emotions. Also, I want to ask a
in
question.
very
What do you define as a standard male protagonist?
Goodbye.
She hasn't done that.
Stoic.
She actually
She
hasn't
hasn't
done
done
that.
that.
Yep.
From a standard male protagonist into something deeper. However, I find that many male protagonists, even in highly stressful situations, express their emotions in very muted ways.
God, no shit.
Oh
She's
my
like-
god. Colin,
Just
are
like-
you ready for this?
Almost like men in real life.
Alright, guys.
It's almost like men are different than. Fuck off. Go ahead, do your thing.
Alright, let her play. Let her play. I want
Let her
to see. I
cook.
want Colin's reaction. Watch.
Because he's not fucking bawling his fucking tear eyes out. Jesus Christ. This is the fundamental disconnect between men and women here.
Isaac, it's me.
This woman in
I
particular,
wish
I
I
would
could
say.
talk to you.
It is, but she's also ignoring context.
I'm sorry.
What the fuck are you doing? This is when he fucking accepts that his wife is dead after all that. What the fuck is that?
Alright, pause. Pause it. Alright, Colin, you want to go and explain why the fuck that doesn't work as an argument?
First
at
of all, not only can you see that he's just like visually upset by that, probably just not in the way that you want him to be. Second of all, that's him accepting his wife is dead after the whole game he spent thinking she was alive and not being able to get over that. Like, what?
Well, I want to bring something else up. So later on, she's going to compare this to female characters, but she's going to absolutely ignore the context. This guy literally went through a necromorph outbreak where he saw, like, fucking guts everywhere, blood, bodies, these insanely fucked up, contorted creatures, like, coming at him, trying to kill him. He literally has to basically, like rip apart people's organs, arms, limbs, and any other bits of someone's body just to survive, because that's what you have to do to, like, not die from the necromorph. So he's probably, like,
Fundamentally a misunderstanding of male psychology.
back to what I was
That's
saying,
pretty
back to
much
what I
what it is.
back to what I was saying. Fucking, so not only, like, he has to, like, endure all this traumatizing shit, fighting all those necromorphs and stuff. He saw two, like, fellow workers gruesomely die in front of him. So it's like, why, like, no shit, he's not gonna start crying his eyes out. He's probably, like, emotionally muted at this point, because he just experienced so much, like,
that's
trauma
another,
and
I want to say,
tragedy.
that's another,
just
wait,
bluntly-
real quick. I just
or
want to
just
say that's,
bluntly-
wait, hold on, Borgie. I just want to say,
Alright.
that's another thing I think can even add to a character's, like, depth, them being emotionally muted. It's like,
Well,
Yeah, like Batman.
here's another point. He's probably just fucking too tired. Because here's the thing: if you've been through, like, so much stress, like, sometimes you just don't have the energy to cry.
Well, another thing that she like omits for context, it's actually really funny. Colin, I don't know if you saw this because you played the remake. If you watch the original, I don't know if I should play it. You know, I'll play it. Should I play it on stream?
If you want.
No,
Do whatever you
I'll
want.
just describe it. I'll describe it. I'm too lazy. So,
Yeah.
in the original version of the game, that's not the remake. You know when Isaac figures out his girlfriend dies, like when he watches the video?
Right.
So, if you pay attention to the scene in the original version, it's not in the remake, I don't think, but in the original version, he actually puts his hand on his head, and you can see him visually crying under the mask. Like, he's crying when he sees her die for the first time. The scene that she's showing is him after he already knew that she died. So she cut out tons of context. He did cry.
in the remake, the way they do it is, like, he has to, like, kind of accept it to even stop the marker, or whatever it's called, from, like, you know, fucking shit up.
Alright, here's another example.
Oh no, Will, you're still.
Why are you giving me this?
While we're still here.
Jack,
Just to suffer.
Wrong game, my guy. Wrong Metal
what should
Gear
I
game.
say? Snake,
She kind of
you're
bad,
a
though.
wonderful man.
Shut the fuck up, Colin, you
Kill me.
piece of shit.
Kill me now.
Aw, she's gonna die. Yo,
Do
yo,
it.
she's gonna bad though. She's gonna bad though. I'd smash that corpse.
No. Well, you're the
I'd
jerk.
do
Necrophilic.
it. She's dead, so she can't fight back.
Oh my fucking
Who's
god!
left winger?
That's me.
There's only room for one boss and one snake.
Alright, hang on. So,
Bro, what the fuck? Okay,
Oh, come on. This is the
Even-
worst way to do it.
do we even need to explain the context for that
We
one?
need to
No,
define
no.
that argument with
Just
For the
play
Metal
the
Gear
static
one?
clip. The clip
He's a
does it
fucking-
itself.
Wait,
He's
for the
literally a
Metal
super
Gear one?
soldier. Yeah,
Well,
he's
no,
a
big
soldier.
boss
He was
isn't.
bred for war.
No,
You'll see he's
different
never died.
character. No, different character. That's Snake. This is Big Boss. They're different people.
Same difference. He's a fucking super
Like-
soldier that's breaded for war.
I'm interested
He's
in
been
this
doing
one.
this for years.
I'm interested in this one. What the fuck is this for Kratos? Oops, I
Oh, yeah,
killed
this
my
one-
just
family.
let him just let it play because the cutscene itself debunks this.
In that instant, the glory he had reveled in turned to horror. The image of his two
All right, enough said.
final victims would stay with him for all his days. With
Bro,
that
he literally
act,
can't stand.
Kratos knew he could no longer serve his master.
There's
He had
literally,
but
hold
one
on.
call.
There's literally a game mechanic in the game focused around Kratos' rage, which really stems from this. Like, this is one of the things it stems from. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, now
Guess
it
what?
reminded me of that fucking mission where you had to save your family. Oh
Yeah.
god, that part. I hate that part.
Okay. hang on a second. So-
That song is stuck in my fucking head forever now.
Yeah, so what she's trying to like point out is like these male characters don't have like these like insane upset reactions for tragic things happening, like they're not crying their eyes out or whatever. So my problem with the context is with all of these are people that like endured intense trauma and obviously aren't just gonna cry like as quickly no matter what bad thing happens.
Yeah, they're mostly.
Yeah, this
stunted.
isn't
I'm
Insomniac
not done.
Spider-Man.
I am not done. I am not done. This is a fucking Spartan who's been fighting for his life ever since he was born. And in this very scene, he is so emotionally distraught and upset. His legs like turned into jello and he can't even fucking stand. He just fell on his knees and he can't move. That's clearly him showing he's upset. The only reason he doesn't cry is because when you're a Spartan, if you cried as a kid, they probably beat the tears out of you.
Yeah, like basically what you're saying, Liam, is that they're emotionally stunted. Like that's like the best way I would say to put it.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
not
they
even
don't-
like using. She's not even using male characters that are like more like regular people. These are like intense super soldier, fucking warriors that go into these intense, traumatizing situations where they see blood, guts, death, tragedy every day of their life, and it's like, yes, they're not gonna cry like a little girl. Literally,
Yeah, it's not.
What
They're
a-
not
oh,
crybabies like Insomniac Spider-Man.
Alright, what about like when
Yeah.
when Soap dies in Modern Warfare 3? Like you can see Price is like upset. It's like no, Soap, God, no, Soap, and then immediately he gets back to business and starts and he fucking like beats the shit out of what's his name, Yuri. The scenes with like not all these characters are gonna react like wah, you know?
No, because
Wah.
this is the fundamental. This is what I keep harping on. Just the fundamental difference between men and women when it comes to emotion.
Well, it's not even
Women
a
are-
I
fundamental
wouldn't even
difference
say
at
that.
this point.
It's
I wouldn't even say
a
that.
fundamental
because this
difference
is
between
so-
people. Like literally.
Well, not only that, this is so far off. It's not even like they're just men. They're more than that. They're fucking warriors that have been like fighting their whole lives. That's so different. Like if she used examples like Peter in Spider-Man PS4 when he cries when his aunt dies, it's like, yeah, her point would fall flat on her face if she used characters like that.
What about when
Joel from The
Ellie?
Last of Us
What about when
crying when
Ellie
his
kills that
daughter
guy?
died.
What about when Ellie kills that guy for the first time in Last of Us 1? He's like, man, I shot the hell out of that guy. It's like that's not some crazy over emotional reaction.
Yeah, because she's
Well,
an
comic
apocalypse.
legend. What about the part in Insomniac Spider-Man 2 where Peter's crying about Aunt May in the third act?
What about
Shut
the
the fuck up, SK.
part where like
Yeah.
there's a shower, SK?
I'm not coming with
No,
you
it's-
this time.
Shut the fuck up!
Most of me is down
Okay,
there.
I have to say this. Pause. I have to say this, and this is so insane for me to say.
He's wearing a mask. You don't even know if he's crying or not.
And also, do you not remember the ending with Lasky? Like when Chief is alone with Lasky in the final minutes of the game? He's just has such a dead sounding voice. He has like zero emotion in that voice. He generally sounds like he's just about to die.
Yeah, like you can clearly tell through his like performance that he's clearly sad and like broken, that like he's losing somebody he deeply cares about. He's not like, first of all, we don't even know if he's crying. He might just be crying under that mask. He's just not sobbing like a bitch. And secondly, even if he wasn't crying, this is a fucking Spartan that literally took rigorous scientific tests as a child and was trained to be a killing machine. They literally say in the beginning of Halo 4 that these Spartans are built to basically be sociopaths.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
it's just more interesting to see the emotion through body language. I mean, there's motion
Yeah,
capture
exactly.
performances that do a really good job showcasing that.
That's how it's like in this scene. That's literally
It
how
could
it's
be
like
more.
in this scene.
It could be more meaningful. Like I think it's more meaningful that Sheaf doesn't say much and he doesn't like react much. You could just tell he's upset with like the subtleties. I think that's more meaningful. I think it's more meaningful that Kratos doesn't cry, but he just falls on his knees and he's just quiet.
What about that scene in the beginning of the Batman where like Bruce sees that kid like whose parents just died, or his dad just died, and fucking you can just tell Bruce's emotions just by looking at his eyes.
Oh yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, I think that shit's far more interesting and meaningful than if they start sobbing. I think it's context heavy. It's about what kind of character we're trying to write. Well, honestly, all that I'll simply say is like I don't know what's so wrong with having a few stoic characters in media. Not every single protagonist is stoic. Like if you play as like young Ezio in Assassin's Creed 2, he's not like a stoic character. If you play the Uncharted games, Nathan Drake isn't stoic.
Well, I'm not saying everybody needs to be. I'm just saying why is it so desired?
Presentation.
Like,
it's like that's like a thing. She's choosing the most stoic characters, which is really unfair. Because like there's clearly characters that are not like this in video games. We can even point out.
What about the conversation between like Jin and his uncle right before you like kill him?
The problem is that she's saying that stoicism therefore blind character, which is just remotely not true.
What people say about Arkham Batman.
Yeah, exactly. It is actually the same kind of complaint as Arkham Batman. It's insane. It's
well, yeah,
just,
like what about
he's not
Arkham...
overtly sad.
Yeah, what about like Arkham Knight when he like drops to his knees after he like he thinks he killed Scarecrow in his head?
You mean Barbara?
Would we argue
the scene
that
where you know the scene on the airship when he shoots the gun and he drops to his knees?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's in Arkham Knight.
Would you argue that stoicism is a more of a male trait, generally speaking?
On average,
it doesn't have to be.
On average, yeah,
it is. It is usually.
It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Like Samus, for example, like female character, but is also a stoic.
I wasn't.
Funnily enough, they actually made her like very they made her like non-stoic.
Literally,
in Other M,
oh my god, the perfect.
Everyone agreed, yeah,
the perfect example, Nier Automata, 2B. Is extremely stoic until like the end of the game. Like a lot of the emotional shit that happens throughout the game, she's like closed off to it until she finally like lets her emotions get through at the end of that game.
Yeah, that's a good point too. It's not even like always male characters, so I don't even understand the criticism. I just think it's really unfair to fucking just cherry pick like the most stoic, hard ass war veteran characters you could find. I think it's flat out just disingenuous.
I'd have to ask.
I'm trying to get to the fundamental issue of this whole thing of why she believes these things. I'm saying, and why is it that she thinks that stoicism is somehow boring and stuff? I think this comes down to a fundamental difference between how the different sexes view things in reality.
I think she's just projecting her like complaints and trying to.
So I would say, do women in general like more like when they watch shows and stuff? They like watching more reality TV than war movies, correct?
I don't even think that's the case. It's just a case of I think on average, just due to like how culture works, and even I think just generally on average, like. It's considered more acceptable for a woman to cry than a man is. So as a result, men kind of express emotion in different ways.
Well, it's funny. Later on, she's gonna comment on that in the video, and it's like, so if you acknowledge that this is a thing, why do you not like it that they're portraying that and depicting that accurately in video games, especially for characters like this? I don't understand. Like, I will never ever understand why she genuinely thinks it's a good argument to tell me Kratos isn't crying after he killed his family, even though this is the same guy that when he was like a little boy, if he cried, he would literally get beaten near to death, like just for crying. Like, he's a Spartan. Do you know how fucking bad it was to be a Spartan? You can't be an emotional little bitch as a Spartan. If you would actually get killed. His emotions were probably beaten out of him, so he probably just doesn't know how to cry or express it properly, which is probably why he's as evil as he is in the fucking original God of War games.
That's literally a big reason why he can't connect with Atreus in the first game, and like why in Ragnarok he's got the whole sentiment of like close your heart to it, and he develops past that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he means by close your heart to it in God of War 4, which
and
apparently she likes.
It's not a case of like he does. It's not a case of like, oh, he is unemotional. It's just that the emotion he expresses is rage, not sadness, which is just as valid as a way to express grief. A lot of people do express grief through rage.
Rage was all that he was taught. That's literally what he was taught to like focus his rage.
What
if
about
he feels emotional, get mad so we can kill more.
Well, look
He's
at
a fucking Spartan.
Well, look at John Wick 4. Like when John Wick dies in John Wick 4, and he's just sitting there watching the sunset as he like bleeds out, about to be with his wife. He's not crying. He's just like it's just a moment where you're just sitting there.
The scene is so good, dude.
I am not leaving you here,
John. Come on, performances are so
Fuck.
good in this game.
Oh. You emotionally
so long to do
detached
that.
person.
Music is peak.
it was my job to take care of you.
You can
Dude, you
literally.
can't even
Oh my
look at
god!
her.
Pause. I was about to say, dude. He's like looking
at him.
down at the floor and shit. Like you can tell he's upset. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
No, he's a big boy.
Oh my god.
It's
Dude.
kind of telling. This person has like the emotional range of a toothpick. Like it's insane.
Actually, do you like only recognizes crying? It's fucking. That's crazy, bro.
And a more somber example is from The Witcher 3, where Geralt is literally unable to cry and talks about it. I'm sorry if I say his name wrong. I always say his name wrong. It's not because I don't care. I think he's a great character. I just always say his name wrong.
I can't cry. Don't know how.
He's unable to give us cry moments.
We should prepare.
And she got in bed.
Personally, I think this example
Shut
touches
the
on the
fuck up.
concept of how men are not allowed to cry, even in the worst of times, which is kind of my point. Geralt can't cry because of his mutations, which is probably painful for when he has to go through so many distressing situations through the game. Now,
How?
it's not
Wait, no, like keep letting it. Keep letting it play. Well, keep letting it play.
necessarily
Wait.
bad that these examples show a lack of emotion. It's just harder for me to feel these moments. Female protagonists seem to be
okay,
rarely
okay, okay.
able
It
to.
sounds like
so-
you fucking issue.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, how is it harder to feel these moments just because they're not crying? So
Yeah,
like,
I
what
don't
the
get it.
fuck?
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird.
Alright,
Also,
put the
I want to
dots
say,
together.
why does she have complete understanding for Geralt not crying with like the genetic mutation stuff, but she doesn't understand like a Spartan not crying because if he did cry, he would like get beaten to near death for doing so.
Go by.
So she doesn't understand that. She doesn't understand that Master Chief
It's
goes
such a-
through scientific augmented surgery as a little kid when he was abducted away from his family and like bred to be nothing but an emotionless killing machine. You don't understand that. You don't understand why he isn't crying, but you understand Geralt. Like what? Why does Geralt get a pass with
Show emotion
experience?
and pain more easily. Maybe it's because of the world we live in. It is less socially acceptable to be a man who cries or shows fear and pain. I feel
Wow,
like female
really?
But it's 'cause-
Man, I wonder why they're not crying in the fucking game where there's soldiers.
Well, keep letting.
Like,
Hold on. Keep letting
it's
it
so
play. Keep letting it play.
stupid.
Keep letting
characters
it
in
play.
all
Yeah.
media are allowed to cry, show pain, or even be tired from a fight.
That smell. Rachel. Oh, Rachel, no, please not her.
I like the comparison
Copyright
of
music.
Dude, what? All right, I just want to say. I
Pause.
just want to say.
Someone pause.
Yeah, pause it. I just want to say, even her crying right there, that fucking acting feels so fake compared to like the Master Chief scene or like Kratos
Master Chief's
dropping
is
to
way
his
better.
knees.
I know,
Well,
right?
also-
It's so funny.
also
like,
this-
is not as good.
Well, like I'm not gonna lie, I fucking there's a lot of older games like would have like weak voice acting. Not all, but like it was more prominent in older games. But like literally that example is
I'll
like
tell both that.
awful because that crying sounds so fucking fake and like unorganic.
Also, I want to bring up
Yeah.
they're comparing like a regular teenage girl to fucking Master Chief.
Wait, what
like-
was that? What was that game, anyways?
Life is Strange.
Guys, I
Life
feel
is
more
Strange.
attached to this teenager crying because she's crying as opposed
Yeah,
to
also just
the
like to
fucking-
say, it just sounds like to me, she just wants some melodrama. Like it's like
Well,
some
yeah,
kind of
it's just-
Hallmark movie.
It really doesn't have to be overplayed that much, like when someone's just crying. Like I think a really good example is in Top Gun Maverick, where Maverick's talking to Iceman, and
Oh,
he's
the
crying in the
military
scene, but it's
propaganda movie.
Is that-
well, yeah. What I was getting at is that I like how it's not overt. He's not like just tearing out, screaming, whatever, like we saw in that cutscene. It's just light tears coming out. He's sniffling, he's wiping them away, but you can clearly see that he's sad. I think that's nice. It doesn't have to be super overt.
Yeah.
I think both can work for the context that they're in. Like I think this scene here is fine. Like under the context, it makes sense, and I think like you can attach yourself to that. But I think you can attach yourself to Master Chief for like the way that he reacts as well. I think they're just different contexts with different people. I think the problem is she wants to project herself onto these characters instead of letting these characters be themselves. Like, none of us are literally Master Chief, right? I don't think any of us were like breaded to be a killing machine that like is all like on the verge of unfeeling. But we can still understand what he's going through and empathize. Like, you're supposed to empathize what they're going through, not project how you feel. Like, that's the point of like characters like that.
Yeah. Well, even the movie we just watched, Den of Thieves, the cop character, like, there's a point in that movie where he does cry, but like a lot of the emotion he has, like, cause his wife is like divorcing him and stuff, and like his job is like fucking over his life and stuff, and like you can tell his emotion, and he's not crying, whether it be through rage or just like his facial expressions.
Exactly.
There's like a scene where like his wife is like punching him and like slapping him and shit because she wants him to like get away so that she can drive away with the kids, and he's just sitting there like, okay, yep, nice, okay.
That reminds me of a fantastic scene in The Walking Dead season 1 where like Rick, like, this is the beginning of the show, like the apocalypse just started. He woke up in the hospital and he's just terrified of where his like son and wife is, so he just goes straight to his house and nobody's there, and then you just see him just kind of flip out, like he's just like, he's crying and he's like walking around the place, and he just falls to the floor, and then there's just like a scene where he's just kind of like staring at the floorboard, like his mind is just absolutely fucked because he just lost his family, and it's like, yeah, that's a great scene, but it's like, it's under like context and character. Rick is just a normal police officer that just like, you know, lost everything. He's not fucking Kratos. He's not Master Chief.
You know what that reminds me of? You ever seen that prank that these dudes did on their friend where he they did this, like, he woke up from a coma prank, and like they walk in and he's got like a kid and fucking it's just so funny. He's just sitting there in a hospital bed, like no emotion on his face whatsoever. He's just lost. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on because he doesn't know how to react.
While male protagonists are usually shown taking the pain with a grimace and showing emotional pain with turning away or being silent. And while that can be relatable to some men, showing emotion can be very powerful. It's like top video game moments that made you cry. Joel's loss of his daughter is at the top. Yes, losing your daughter is hard, but I think the thing that makes people really feel it was seeing a masculine man break down and cry.
Pause before I slide you.
Oh, this is why Joel's a good character. It's because he cries when his daughter dies. Ah, I see.
He is so shallow and superficial. It's so cringe.
Isn't it crazy when we have a context of the male character not being a fucking Spartan or a super soldier or a person who went through traumatizing fucking violent combat and war? Once we have a normal ass guy and he cries, like isn't that crazy?
Veterans are abnormal.
You know what's funny? Well, you know what's funny? At the end of the game, he doesn't cry when Ellie's about to die. He turns that shit into anger and murders everyone, like Kratos.
Yeah, because he changed.
Yeah,
and he's a psychopath and a bad person, of course.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy though? Like when he's like
everything is Joel's fault.
He's like an unassuming guy. Like, yeah, he cries. It's almost like if you apply context, you know, changes the whole argument.
Come on, baby.
It's just 7. This game is overrated. Right, Colin?
Oh wait, Tommy's a bad character. He's not crying right now.
Sarah.
Yeah, why is it Tommy crying?
He
just killed his whole family and he didn't cry. This guy's a bitch.
literal soy jack.
Form of media, and it's sad that men are not allowed to cry like this on a more regular.
What?
Oh, fuck off.
Why are you? Wait, what? Why are you crying?
Dude, she's by
the way,
okay, she's just, by the way, why doesn't she, wait, why doesn't she provide the clip
I need to bring this up.
Kratos about to off himself? Because of this.
I need to bring this up. I love how he's bringing up, yes, the PS2 game doesn't have very, like, emotional faces because it's a PS2 game.
It wouldn't even matter.
Like, the PS2
he literally
really
drops to his knees in emotion.
But, like, the point I'm making is, like, the reason you probably don't see much emotion in his face is because it's a fucking PS2 game.
I think we should...
Obviously, Kratos...
PS2 games suck, is that what you're telling me?
No, obviously, Kratos was about to kill himself because he was happy. He didn't feel any emotion. Obviously.
Well, not only any of that, but, like, if you actually paid attention to the scene, when he goes to his knees, they cut away. They, like, move the camera away from him. So for all that we know, off screen, he could have, like, started tearing up. Like, we actually don't know. It's actually it could possibly be up to interpretation. Like we actually don't even know for sure. I will say he probably didn't cry, And he boiled that all that emotion he felt and turned it into anger and vengeance, which is why like he fucking slaughters people. I think that adds depth. The whole him not crying that's a commentary. He doesn't cry, and instead the only way he uses his emotions as an outlet is to use it for violence and murder.
Regular basis. The impact of this scene is powerful because of Joel's emotional response. He actually cries, and that makes the player feel for him. Just saying things are happening is not the thing that makes the audience sad. It's the delivery of the news that matters. When we look at muted male characters reacting to tragedy, it's hard to feel it. But when Joel or female characters react emotionally, it is a much more impacting moment. And one viewer pointed out when filming this scene, Troy Baker, Joel's voice and face actor, was told to not be as emotional, which can be an indication of
That's
people's
not even
discomfort
true.
with a man
Hold on,
being
that's not
emotional.
even true. If you watch the fucking scene, like what they're trying to do with Troy Baker, because some of it, because his voice, the way he would get down into emotions before they got the scene perfect, he would be too overly emotional to the point where it would feel unnatural. Like that's what they mean by overly emotional.
Yeah, it's too much of something isn't good.
Yeah, like it's a soap opera or something.
Yeah, what Troy Baker was basically said, he even admits this in the video clip she's gonna show. He literally says that he was trying too hard and like he had to stop doing that. I should have let them kick me out of a hospital
all those memories
without my
of all
things.
those feelings, and they're just right underneath the surface. And when I walked back in, everyone realized that something was different. They kind of like calmed down.
You could feel the energy just like drop a little
Fucking
bit
big chungus over here.
That fucking PFP probably smells like overused Febreze.
Lose my shit. I would just completely break down.
Or Asbus Gold's room.
Wait, go back. Someone back it up. Like, listen to this. Look how unnatural this shit sounds.
I mean, just completely break down.
Don't do this, please, God. Yeah, I see your point. That's overacting, yeah. I see your point.
Oh God, no!
So goofy.
Then 2 weeks later, he calls me. And he says, so we need to reshoot a scene. I'm like, cool, what scene are we doing? And he just looks at me. I said, dude, don't do this to me. And he started talking me through
Don't do this to me,
Like, what I
Insomniac.
need you to do is I need you to just strip yourself of all these ideas. And I need you to hit this beat, and this beat, and this beat.
I like how Neil Druckmann's like
just
be a
makes
bot.
it sound so mechanical and such an emotional scene. So we start going through it, and literally I am mindlessly doing these things at this point.
Okay. I know it hurts, baby. I know. So I'm gonna lift you up. I'm gonna get you over here. Come on, baby. Come on, work with me, please. God, baby. Sarah.
And I realized that the reason why I wanted that first take to work was because I wanted everyone to look at me and go,
Borgie, I swear to God, if you talk to another Cybertronian, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Why are you fucking talking
that's
to
not what
you?
the scene needed.
Those moments where you just have to sort of calm your ego down and just go back and do your work.
And the characters that surround the main protagonist still matter too.
Pause. So she just played a scene where the lesson of the lesson was fucking don't let your ego get in the way. Your first take isn't as perfect as you think it is, and you should always try again and to make sure it's even better. How is that like relevant to anything at all?
Because her point is like they wanted him to be less emotional, but that's taken out of context and what they mean.
Yeah, they mean they didn't want it to be over the top, obviously.
Don't expect to really understand this kind of complexity.
Continue.
2. I was speaking to Todd, the editor of Hardcore Gaming,
Oh.
and his perspective was very
Diversity,
insightful.
Todd Howard.
He felt that straight male characters are effective in stories that are not about them. For example, Warren from...
What the fuck?
What is this?
Wait, no, just rewind what the
face
fuck
PNG.
Rewind what the fuck that dude just said.
The editor of Hardcore Gaming, and his perspective was very insightful. He
Very
felt that straight male characters
insightful?
are
What do you
effective in stories that are not about them.
Bro, that's
Oh
an
my
insightful
God.
take. Oh my fucking god.
White.
Yeah.
White male characters can be good in stories that aren't about
They're most effective in
Little
stories
too on the
that aren't
nose.
about them.
Didn't like
Just
that.
imagine. Just imagine if we said the reverse. Just imagine if we said the reverse about.
Well, if you said the reverse, you'd end up like Ryan Kinnell and Ben Shapiro. So
Yeah, way too on the nose. Did not like
didn't
that.
like that.
Way too
Took a couple
Jewish.
points off the score for me personally.
I just want to know what about. I just want to know what about that was insightful. Please keep letting it play.
It's insightful to hate white people and not want them to be like protagonists ever.
No, but haven't you heard though, Comic Legend?
Oh my
you can't
God,
be racist to white people.
Watch Together sucks, I swear.
You can't be racist to white people because some psycho on Twitter said so.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Warren from Life is Strange gave a really good example of how straight men play into a woman's queer experience. Warren is by no means a bad guy and is actually a...
What are we even on right now? I'm so lost.
I told you these people are unhinged. You care to take a guess what this person believes in?
I don't think
communism?
I think I already know.
Communism? All cops are bad? I mean, what?
Well, probably.
It's only if it was like a recognizable trend or something. There was a word for this, but anyways.
Just keep letting it go.
To Max even when he's rejected romantically, which makes him a good person. However, his actions in assuming his status with Max as a romantic possibility can be seen as a
what is so interesting about this story?
And their interactions with male friends who have crushes on them.
Oh.
And here's another male opinion about
that
male
makes the
protagonists
story
by
so
DreamCastGuy.
complex.
Hey there, everyone.
Oh, I remember this guy.
No, wait. I just want to.
I don't know who that is.
So what you just said is the story is complex because the straight guy wanted to date the gay girl and she said no, so he understood and moved on with his day. That's the complex story. That's the insightful
complex story.
That's definitely better than Kratos right there. That's what I like to see, baby.
That's better than Kratos.
What's up, gamers?
That's what we call boundless.
What's up, gamers? Shield
Wait,
Colin,
Colin, do you know who DreamCastGuy is?
No.
Alright, let me explain him to you in a way you will
dump the
easily
lore
understand.
now.
So, you know Superman has a villain called Bizarro, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So if you were Superman, he would be Bizarro. He is literally everything you're not. It is so fucking horrible.
Let's see what he's
I remember this guy. I
can't wait, stop. Go back.
Shut up, everybody.
Male friends who have crushes on them. And here's another male opinion about male protagonists by DreamCastGuy.
Hey there, everyone. I'm DreamCastGuy, and I've been asked to give a male perspective on this video topic because it's such an interesting thing to dig into.
He sounds like a robot. What the
I
fuck?
have beaten thousands of different games because I've been playing stuff ever since I could first pick up a controller.
Dude, he sounds no. Wait.
Even
Stop. He sounds like Synthetic Man if he like I don't even know.
Soy milk?
Yeah.
Leftist?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's literally left-wing Synthetic Man.
Yeah. That's a good way of describing him, honestly.
Best adventures sometimes have very flat and
he sounds like a fucking
heroes at the
IGN
center of-
reporter. He just sounds like a robot.
Why don't you let him finish what he's saying, you dumb
Let him
bitch?
finish what he's fucking saying.
Yeah, keep letting it play out.
Yeah, how fucking dare you, Colin?
Keep letting it
I've
play
been
out.
playing stuff ever since I could first pick up a controller, but I have noticed that even the best adventures sometimes have very flat and uninteresting heroes at the center of
This is
it.
not related.
But sometimes
Pause.
this can make the fun.
That is not related to what she was talking about. She was just talking about male protagonists being like boring and like they don't react to emotional scenes properly or whatever.
Well, that's what. Wait, what? That's what he said.
No, what he's saying is like there's some video games where the characters are flat and like uninteresting at all. Like
Yeah, but
he's
that-
talking about.
Yeah, I know. That's what she was talking about.
What she's trying to say, what she's trying to say is like stoic characters who like still have complex stories, like. You know, like she's talking about characters like Kratos who did lose his wife and stuff. DreamCastGuy is bringing up like the guy from Castlevania who literally has no character and he just kills Dracula and fucks off. Like that's not related. What does that have to do with anything?
Guys, why doesn't the NES game have deep characterization?
Unironically.
Chill, bro. Pokemon had some good characters.
Fun,
Okay,
or sharp.
Name them.
An example of this, I think, is Castlevania.
Juniper.
Now, each one of these definitely has a clear hero, but it's not really important. While they do have a backstory and there is some deep lore, all that really matters is beating Dracula and going into creepy castles and finding your own path.
Wait. So it's not. So they don't have deep characters, but they also have deep characters. What the fuck?
He's talking about external material like the Netflix show or something.
Oh,
the game. It's not like that.
okay.
But hey, But no, do you get what I'm saying? Like this is not related because this is a non-story focused game. Versus,
yeah, I don't
what she used. The girl, she used like games that, in fairness, at least had a deep story, like Dead Space, God of War. Those are narrative based, at least to a degree. Like they have a fucking story. They have characters with emotions. Castlevania is literally like the character is nothing. You just control him. He doesn't have a personality.
This is essentially like saying male characters are boring because, or I've noticed a trend that male characters are boring. Yeah, I was literally about to say that because I've only played Mario games, so male characters in games are boring. Like that's just such a stupid. All right, but does he bring up any other examples?
Yeah, and they're just as unrelated as this one, besides maybe one.
And I think that makes it where we end up enjoying Castlevania more because the main character isn't necessarily the man with the whip so much as it is the evil monsters that are in our path. Or another game that has a really boring male protagonist.
That's the point.
I absolutely.
If it's a gameplay focused game, yeah, you're supposed to be more invested in the gameplay than you are the guy you're playing as.
Also, why is this somehow gendered? Like, does he not know the NES version of Metroid? You play as a female character, and she has no personality, and you just go around killing aliens?
Finished several times over the years, but I've really started to go back and reflect on it recently, and I noticed that Ryo, as a protagonist, is quite strange because he has almost no emotion when he speaks, despite the fact that he just watched his own father be brutally murdered with his bare hands in front of him. He doesn't seem like he's too terribly shocked, and I think that this is a very purposeful motion by the developers. The voice actor says that they were directed to have a very muted style of emotion in all their delivery, which makes it where, as you're going through this really hectic tale of revenge, instead of seeing it as Ryo managing to finally kill his evil rival Londi, it's us putting on his jacket and walking down that.
I feel like I have to say, all right, once he says he's being stoic, and then he says he's on a revenge plot, that's the reason why he's not fucking turbo, like, crying and shit and or emotional, because he's pulling all that emotion into like rage.
Yeah, I just want to say this, even if he could give 10 examples right now and prove them all without a shadow of a doubt, these characters are bad characters, they're not interesting, they don't have any emotion, that would be 10 games out of thousands, hundreds.
The way he's describing this game, it just sounds
so irrelevant.
It's
literally, if you want to make a commentary on like the culture of video games, you need to like
the culture war.
You need to broaden. Yeah, you need to broaden quite a bit.
You can't overgeneralize this specific thing. Like, if you want to make, like, us, like, the only time you can do this, right, or, like, the most productive way to do this is, like, you want to talk about a specific character or a specific franchise, so you can key in on that. When you overgeneralize and overly broadly talk about things that have so much to them, it's like you're getting nowhere.
I think the problem I'm having with DreamCastGuy's arguments is very simply, he's applying games that are not even story-based, and it's like, that's not a gendered thing, so it just makes these automatically irrelevant. I think there's only one game where he has a genuine point.
To switch things up a little bit, though, and talk about the very bad side of boring protagonists, let's dive into Gears of War, a trilogy very, very interesting because it laid out a new planet, a new bad guy, and a new reason to shoot stuff, but the characters at the center of this tale are so boring and so lifeless, they almost seem like gorillas with machine guns and paper masks on with a big frowny face. And that makes it almost distracting because I want a little bit of motivation at the heart of a tale like this. If I'm saving the world, I'd like at least...
Pause. So, I'm not the biggest Gears of War guy, but like, I know that this isn't fully honest. There's literally a character named Dom whose whole fucking goal, like, for like helping out this journey is that he lost his wife and he's trying to go and find her. And then in the second game, he figures out his wife dies, and he, like, breaks down and gets emotional. And then in the third game, he, like, literally makes, like, a fucking heroic sacrifice to save the others. It's literally considered one of the most, like, emotional scenes in gaming at the time. Because, like, people liked Dom. He was, like, a super relatable character, and then he just fucking crashes and, like, dies in the third one and shit.
What about,
it's
like...
I wouldn't even agree with Gears of War. There's still characters you can connect to. Well, like, it's not as, like, emotionally complex as,
let's use Call of Duty. Let's use Call of Duty opportunity for a comparison. Like there's games where like some of the characters aren't the most interesting and stuff. You look at like Modern Warfare, for example, or even World at War to an extent. Even though like I'm not saying these games don't have interesting characters, but like even if they don't, there's stories that are like more focused on either like a plot or just like, you know, a theme and showcasing it. So like even if you don't have the most interesting characters, they can still be connected to, whether it's by their personality or something.
I think the dynamic
Reznov is actually a good character though. Like he's interesting.
Reznov and Dmitri, what was it? Petrenko dynamic is probably the one you would definitely want to focus on.
Yeah, I like the I know what you're talking about. But like even still, like I feel like the American side of that campaign is just less interesting than the Dimitri stuff.
It's more gameplay focused.
Yeah. But even still,
Americans
it's still portraying
Russian story.
Yeah, it's still hammering home that central theme that the game is trying to portray.
Another game that does this that is so horrible in my opinion is Watch Dogs.
Fuck off! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
Possibilities of storytelling and narrative, but they let us fill the shoes of a
Pause. Aiden Pierce is a really good character.
Aiden Pierce is like one of the best Ubisoft protagonists ever. What are you talking about?
Okay, calm the fuck down, my guy.
Okay, how is he not?
I have no opinion on this.
Ezio, Edward Kenway, Altair Ibn Lahad.
How is Ed? Man, fuck Assassin's Creed. Fuck Assassin's Creed.
Fuck
Assassin's Creed.
Was he about to say how is Edward better than fucking
Yes, I was gonna say how is Edward better than Aiden Pierce.
Your forehead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is blasphemy. How dare you fucking imply that that fucking Aiden is better than Edward?
Aiden is like a fucking master manipulator. Like he's so fucking good. He's like
okay, and Edward's a fuking pirate. Who cares?
No, I'm saying like
Edward
the way
is
they
a pirate who went through a deep emotional journey, lost all of his friends, and then like learned a lesson to become better, and has like this underlying tragedy.
All right, you know what? I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
Will still like endure tragedy thanks to the
I'm gonna say.
Assassin Temple
I'm gonna put this video on my screen. If you think this
No.
video it does such a good job at analyzing Aiden's character, it's called The Best Protagonist You Didn't Understand.
I'm playing this game as well. I'm gonna give you a 5-hour video literally analyzing Edward's character, bro. I'm not joking. I'm doing it right now.
Well, at this point, I don't even care who's better as a character, but him saying Watch Dogs or saying Aiden Pierce is a boring character, get the fuck out of here.
Character who is so poorly done that you end up just walking around the city wondering why you're here.
What do you mean? How are you? What are you talking about?
Into flat
How?
At times because we're at least able to try and slide into the situation. And
did you? No, wait, pause it. What do you mean you're walking around the city wondering what the you're doing? The first cutscene of the story tells you what your mission is, what you are doing.
What are you talking about? I think you're being over emotional.
I got a comment I want to read. All I hear about Aiden is that he's just not very interesting at all, and he's always putting loved ones and partners in danger, and that he's a bland trench coat. That's it. I like how the Synth Wine said this. I like how the comment literally says he's always putting loved ones and partners in danger, you know, to achieve his goals. But that's not interesting.
That's the.
How's that not interesting?
That's the point of his character.
That just sounds interesting, like a character who uses their loved ones to get what he wants.
Well, there's that's literally a big theme of his character. He's really hypocritical about stuff. Like he'll say it's consistent with his character too. Like he'll get mad when people like start firefights or big fights in public, but like there's missions in the game where Aiden does that himself. So like but like he'll start things that will put people in danger, and even if he's trying to help those people get out, like, you know, there's the mechanic in the game where you can like help people get out of their cars and stuff, like in the middle of a firefight. It's like he's really hypocritical about this stuff, even though he has good intentions, he can be just as bad as the people he's fighting against.
Sounds kind of like the assassin philosophy.
The characters that are just so poorly done that you are distracted by it, then I think that anybody, male or female, is going to see that this is nothing but a giant detriment.
White noise.
So, I really hope I gave a well-rounded explanation on male protagonists in video games.
The only thing well-rounded is your body, you
male
fat
game
ass.
characters back. And
Colin, after seeing that video, will you take my hand?
Whoa.
Join me so we can fight the culture war.
Shut the fuck up. My biggest grievance with this video is why you can pick any avatar you want, and you made yourself fat, a fat bunny.